Hey everyone, and how's it going? Welcome to the show that asks you to pull out your chairs, take out your TTRPG books, and join us at the table. Today we are wrapping up the Four Nations. Earlier we did the Fire and Earth, or the Ifrit, and the Oread. The Ifrit, of course, had some awesome fire builds. Oread had some amazing tank builds. Today we're going to touch upon the Water and Air Nation. We'll get cracking with that shortly. But first, introductions. Today's a nice chill day. Let's just have a nice chill time saying hello. Mr. Michael Powell, please tell them who you are and where they can find you on that sweet, sweet internet.
Well, I am Michael Powell, and you can find me all over the internet on my social media, which is usually at Mr. Kapow. That's MrKapao. And how about you?
My name is PJ McGaw. You can find me all over the internet at pj.mcgaw, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Find me. Let's have a good time. And without further ado, let's pop open these really awesome, versatile heritages, the Sylphs and the Undine. I believe it's Undine. It's Undine.
I thought it's Undine.
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 Yeah, see, this is the tragedy of what happens when you use Britannic language, which is derived from Anglo-Saxon and Germanic. You get your vowels all screwed up. Let's just go with the Greek, the Nereid.
Yeah.
Very easy. But without further ado, we're going to start off with the Sylphs. Really fast about the Sylph. They are a versatile heritage. Now, what's exciting about Pathfinder Versatile Heritage is that they have given you, the player, so much opportunity to create that perfectly awesome, unique OC, original character. So versatile heritages can be combined with your primary ancestry. Like, for example, you could be an elven sylph. So you're one part elf and one part this, and you get to kind of pick and choose from your ancestry feats and such going forward.
I also do want to point out the Sylphs are a uncommon versatile heritage, so you might want to talk to your GM first before playing them.
Yes, absolutely. Definitely uncommon, but not impossible. It just might not fit the flavor of the world. No biggie either way. Also, cracking open the archives of Nethys. If you go to the Sylph page, there's some amazing artwork for these people that look just anime as F. Like, I've seen that anime. It's really good. Without further ado, let's get into it and let's quit screwing around. So, Sylphs are an intense and lively people, flighty and tempestuous. These planar scions have kinship to beings of elemental air, such as genie, genie, invisible stalkers, and cloud dragons. Sylphs enjoy following their own tempos, shifting between wild energy that draws all eyes to embodying the spirit of unseen breezes that slip away without note. They often build their identities around their perceived personal connections to the element of air, relating to a gentle breeze, a sudden flash of lightning, or an uncontrollable storm. Now, some Sylphs are born with a connection to an extremely focused aspect of elemental air, such as smoke, storms, or even, especially for those post-industrial urban campaigns, toxic gas. When it does happen, a child is rarely born with a lineage that differs from their parents, as genie can typically pass their unusual gifts on to their offspring. Lineages can manifest in Sylph children as a result of where they're born, such as when storm soul Sylphs, say that 5 times fast, are birthed in regions prone to tornadoes or windstorms. A lineage can also reflect a Sylph's elemental heritage, like a smoke soul Sylph, when often descended from Belkers. Fume soul Sylphs, on the other hand, are associated with poisonous and otherwise unbreathable gases. Now remember, there is no such thing as an evil race, and no group is a monolith. You could be a fume soul Sylph, and even though your entire body is poisonous and toxic gas, that doesn't mean you're a poisonous, toxic person. That's not in the notes. That's just me putting that out there. So that's just kind of the lore of these people, of this variant heritage. The versatile heritage granted by this at the beginning. You were descended from air elementals and were born under the element's influence. You gain the Sylph trait in addition to the traits from your ancestry. You can also get low light vision or dark vision if your ancestry already has low light. You can choose from Sylph feats and feats from your ancestry whenever you gain an ancestry feat.
Yeah, like this is really cool. If oh god, I'm thinking, ooh, PJ,
Mm.
orc, half orc, sylph, because you do have the orc
Ooh.
full orc race. You can be a half orc and sylph. So basically, your father's a cloud giant or a storm giant.
Oh, I like that, especially with kind of like depending on the lore you're pulling from. Different
Mm-hmm.
lore of orcs have different reverence for like giants and ogres and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
You could very easily have an orc that like looked up to the storm giants, revered them as gods,
Mm-hmm.
was like fortunate enough to win their trust, and then given the
Yeah,
storm soul.
yeah. Or if you want to go on the other end of the spectrum, you have the goblin sylph, which is like a little gremlin, lightning gremlin, Zzz, like from Gremlins 2. Remember?
Oh, yes, the lightning gremlin. Oh my
Yeah,
god, I the lightning gremlin, the gargoyle gremlin, and the Jessica Rabbit gremlin
yeah.
says a lot about me. Were my three favorite. Oh, the spider one was really cool too. Looking into the chat, Reap Psyche agrees the art is really cool. Absolutely. Go to Archives of Nethys. Look up the Sylphs. Their artwork is amazing. Grebo, Lightbrush, awesome to see you. Had a good day so far. I'm actually feeling really good. I'm kind of feeling myself. Penguin Chan says, I'm a cloud dragon for reals. Penguin Chan, I think that requires an explanation. My obsession with wings and difficulty grounding. There's the explanation. Thank you so much. All right. Well, without further ado, let's get into the feats of this ancestry.
Should I kick off with the first one, which is very simple actually?
Oh, yes, please, and thank you.
Well, the first one is pretty much, honestly, almost every race but humans. Elemental eyes. You can see in the darkness as easily as an elemental. You gain dark vision. And you can only select this feat only at level 1, and you can't retrain in or out of this feat. So once you get this feat, you're stuck with it.
Yep. And again, this is a versatile heritage. This is basically only half of your full, who you are potential. So you're not going to be just this. But if you choose something that already has low light vision, you already get dark vision for free because of this versatile heritage. So really consider going forward if this feat is necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, elemental lore. You are devoted yourself to researching the secrets of the inner sphere. You gained the trained proficiency in your choice of survival, coffee burp, and either arcana or nature. If you'd automatically become trained in survival from background or class, for example, you instead become trained in a skill of your choice. You also become trained in lores associated with your elemental plane of origin. So this one feat at the top gives you basically 4 skill proficiencies. If you really want to bar it out and have almost everything in your repertoire, you can do that easily peasily.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, next one up is the fume soul. The air inside you asserts itself as a toxic miasma, insuring you to most poisons. You gain resistance to poison equal to half your level, minimum 1. That's actually really nice.
Really good.
Yeah, as getting it at level 1, especially as someone who I love using debuffs like poison. Ugh, this is how to defend yourself against me.
This is really cool because it's poison is weird because like it's hard to track how long term you're probably going to continue to run into poison, right?
Hmm.
But regardless, you have a natural immunity. I'm sorry, resistance to it that just levels up with you. So
Yeah.
you're just kind of like,
Honestly,
mad me.
I think poison as a damage type is actually from level 1 to 20. You could It's pretty much pretty basic, so you'll encounter it no matter where. Poison, honestly.
I will say there are some demons that have poisons, but I don't know if it actually does poison damage. It seems to be more of poison as an effect instead of
Hmm.
poison as damage
Persistent
type.
damage.
Yeah. But that being said, I'm going to actually skip over this one. I'll give you a quick rundown. The genie weapon familiarity. I'm going to skip this because every
Hmm.
genie kin has it. It lets you have proficiencies in falchions, runciers, scimitars, and tridents. Meh. Smoke soul. This should be cool. The smoke soul. Um, you have a connection to smoke and haze. You gain the smoke blending reaction. Smoke blending reaction trigger. A creature attempts a flat check. to target you because you're concealed or hidden due to fog, haze, mist, or smoke. Effect: you shroud yourself in smoke, making it harder for your foe to hit you. If you are concealed, the DC of the flat check increases from 5 to 7. If you're hidden, it increases from 11 to 13. So this is really good for rogues and
Casters.
I'm even gonna, yeah,
and
casters.
rangers
If you
even.
want to, I'm absolutely, especially rangers that like to do like snipe,
Can I also say
because
something?
it gives you, yeah,
I want to say
absolutely.
something real quick. You're basically the Pokemon coughing. Smoke screen
Oh,
coughing.
oh
I
God, you're not
had to.
wrong.
I had to.
You're not wrong though. But that's what's great about it, especially because it raises the difficulty of a flat check, which is gnarly because it's just a D20, no bonuses. What the die says is what it means. So if you have if you have to roll 13 up to even be allowed to hit someone, that's a really rough task to pass.
Yeah. Real quick. Grebo Lightbrush. Thank you for the sub. Also, Reap Psyche posted. Poison resistances are great because they let you introduce AOE poison without worrying about it.
That's true. At least for the sylphs. Everyone else, well, maybe dwarves. Dwarves and
Yeah.
sylphs should be okay. Anyone else is probably screwed. But thank you again, Grebo Lightbrush. Absolutely love the gifts and stuff. What is next after Smoke Soul?
All right. That
Oh, this
is
one's fun.
the Storm Soul. Your elemental ancestors' influence manifests in you as tremendous thundering storms with dark clouds and bolts of lightning. You gain resistance to electricity equal to half your level, minimum 1.
Ooh. Okay, now this is spicy. I love this because poison is really cool. However, it really requires your GM to be like, I want to use poison for this boss's theme. But there are so many spellcasters, so many entities and elementals that use light. There's so many dragons that breathe lightning. This is really good.
Oh, yeah. All right. Next up.
Swift. Or, sorry, Swift. You move with the wind always at your back. Your speed increases by 5. The speed increase from this feat isn't cumulative with any other speed increases from your ancestry feats, such as Nimble Elf. This is important to remember because I know at one point when we were making Harry Allen or Barry Alon, we were trying to make the fastest character alive without buff spells. And we need to make sure that those don't stack, or that
Yeah.
they do or don't stack for that to work.
And honestly, also, Swift, or as I like to call it, Swifty. Let's get Swifty in here.
Get Swifty.
All right. Yeah, at the table, we make really, really bad jokes and puns.
Pretty much. It's like our lifestyle. It's a
Yeah.
punishment to those who don't like it.
Anyway, moving on. Next up is When Tampered. It's a level 1 feat. You are at home in temperate weather and accustomed to even the harshest winds. You gain a +1 circumstance bonus against saves. 2 saves against air and electricity effects. If you roll a success on a save against an air effect, you get a critical success instead. Dude, combine this with the storm one, the Storm Soul.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, yeah. Oh yeah. So not only are you taking whatever less damage from the lightning breath, but you get a +1 the reflex save against it, which could probably negate, as long as you don't critically succeed, that could negate a lot of it.
And even if you do succeed, it's a critical success. Yeah, critical success.
Absolutely. And let's see here. Oh, that's a good point. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's broken. I mean, granted, it's very niche, but when it works, it freaking
Yeah,
works.
you're basically Electro. Like, I am the electricity.
Oh, that reminds me of the PlayStation game when you finally got Spider-Man
Yeah.
references.
Or
Um,
Megavolt from the Darkwing Duck.
yeah. I was talking to someone. We were having a nostalgia off about like old Disney cartoons. We'd sing their theme song and we'd just go hard with the anthem. Darkwing Duck. That's
Mm.
a that's a gem. If
Yeah.
you want to go hard, you watch two cartoon intros: SWAT Cat Season 2 and Darkwing Duck.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Um,
Next up.
Cloud Gazer. Now we're at the level 5 ancestry feats of this Sylph versatile heritage. Your connection to air allows you to see through obscuring mists. You can see well enough through fog, mist, and clouds that would normally cause creatures to be concealed, but you don't need to succeed a flat check to target creatures. Cloud Gazer removes the flat check benefit to see hidden, concealed creatures in fog, mist, clouds, things like that. If there's someone using a smoke bomb, nope, they're not. They're wasting their
Yeah.
time. That's
Ooh, this is
amazing.
nice. This is nice. All right.
It completely negates mist form, by the
Mm-hmm.
way. I just realized that. When you guys were fighting Mangum on the boat, he took on a mist form potion. Cloud Gazer would completely negate that entire spell.
Mm-hmm. The next one is, you know what? I'll read the next one, even though we've read this before. I feel we need to at least read it once per video. So,
Mhm.
Fey Influence, level 5 feet. You have been exposed to powerful Fey magic. You become trained in primal DCs and spell attack rolls. You gain the Fey trait and one of the following features, which grant an innate primal spell that can be used once per day. So, basically, Dryad, Gremlin, what have you. You get either these. You get like grim tendrils, summon plants or fungus, bane or spider sting, depending on what type of Fey you are. So this does add, gives you a little extra, gives you options, gives you a little extra oomph.
Yeah, and it's really kind of cool too that like this will allow you to guarantee get like an access to druid magic. If you're already a druid, it gives you free spells. If you're a fighter, barbarian, champion, rogue, monk, whatever, this now gives you that exact same class with access to druid magic.
Mm-hmm. Useful. It's useful.
It's really good. I can see
Yeah.
why this is a level 5 feat.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the next one is I'm going to skip over this one because it is the Genie Weapon Flourish. Basically, this lets you use the critical specialization effect of the Genie weapons. But we're going to go from there to the Skillful Tail for Geniekin. And let me just kind of tell you what this bad boy is all about. You are born with a tail, and with practice, you've learned how to perform simple interactions with it, such as opening an unlocked door. Your tail can't perform actions that require fingers or significant manual dexterity, including any action that would require a skill check to accomplish. You can't use it to hold items. This is basically a natural, free-occurring version of the spell Mage Hand, except you don't have the range of distance.
And you have a tail.
And you get a cool tail.
Yeah.
I don't know what a tail would look like for a sylph.
I'm thinking something like the Draenei from World of Warcraft.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good. I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, next up we have Slip with the Breeze. The prereq for this is you gotta be a expert in athletics. You create gusts of wind when you jump, allowing you to carry yourself across greater distances. You gain the quick jump and powerful leap skill feats as a bonus feats. So you get 2 feats for the price of 1. And also you get a nice little cool kind of aesthetic when you jump. Honestly, this is like On when he jumps in Avatar: The Last Airbender. He uses a little gust of air to kind of give him a little boost.
Yeah, actually, that's exactly what it is. This is perfect. Yeah, it just seems to be more of a natural thing. Like, you belong in the air, so when you move with the air, you move a little faster, a little easier, a little better.
Oh, Pengu-chan agrees with my tail analogy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, you read my mind. Yep. Now let's see here. So we got the Sleep with the Breeze. Now we got Genie Magic, or Ginny Magic?
Jin magic.
Jin. Well, it's weird because it's written Ginny with the I at the end, but the description is Jin. Because I think Genie is a person. Jin is the greater culture that they come from. Like a genie is a Jin. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The magic of Jin runs through your blood. You can cast Gust of Wind and Invisibility once per day each as a second level arcane innate spell. So this is a
That's
level 9 feat that gives you access to invisibility once a day for free.
that's really nice. Oh, this is really great for rangers and let's see, rangers and rogues and spellcasters.
Hell, I would love to see, just because I love barbarians. If you didn't see our episode about how broken barbarians were, go check it out. It's on our YouTube, which we finally beat 100 subscribers. Yay, we're this close to making a custom URL, so it's not a mess. However,
Yeah.
we're still waiting for YouTube to like actually open up that process. It's
Hmm.
a headache. Um, but yeah, barbarian. Could you imagine a barbarian
Oh
with
yeah.
the Mauler
Hmm.
archetype just running up on a dude in a rage, invisible, doing a power attack?
Yeah. Or as a monk, getting his flurry of blows in. Boom. Yeah.
Uh, I think after the first pop in the jaw, you'd lose the invisibility. But even still, just like becoming invisible, moving like the wind, so you're right on top of them, and then just hitting him with the 1 inch punch, which I think came
Yeah.
out in the advanced player's guide,
Hmm.
and basically just like doing a big
Just
pummel strike and
yeah.
blah.
Just
Oh,
wailing on him.
oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. Then we have. Oh, we're at the level 9 feats now. This one is called Inner Breath. Your body is capable of recycling its own air. When you hold your breath, you could do so for an additional hour. At the end of this hour, your body needs to rest before it can recycle air again. This rest requires 10 minutes of exposure to breathable air. So basically, you have a built in air tank. I mean, this is kind of, I would say, kind of situational, but it is still useful, especially with against spells like noxious fumes. You can hold your breath for an hour, like, okay, noxious fume. I'll hold my breath and just walk in and bonk people in the head.
See, I like this because uh, in the other edition, in the other tabletop edition, you have the Genasi, which the Genie
Mhm.
King and Genasi, they're pretty much the same. Only
Yeah.
there's clearly more creative options and choices with this
Hmm.
system. But the Air Genasi could just indefinitely hold their breath, and I just kind of feel like that's broken mechanically, like narratively, that's broken.
Yeah.
This at least gives you the benefit of, haha, I breathe better than you, without making it such a nasty hand wave of like,
Hmm.
I never have to breathe. Screw whatever breath related things you're putting my way. It's like, that's a little,
Hmm. Yeah.
eh.
Yeah. All right. The next one, I think our friend Pengu Chan's gonna dig.
Oh, yes, yes, indeed. It is a level 9 ancestry feat, two actions called Wings of Air. You can strain to call forth feather or cloudy wings from your back. Once manifested, these wings remain for 10 minutes. You gain a fly speed equal to your land speed while you've manifested your wings. And from what I can see in this description, there's a build up skill. There's a skill tree for Wings
Ooh.
of Air. So, pick that later.
All right, now we are moving into the level 13 feats. This one is Airy Step, and I believe it's a reaction frequency once per day, and the trigger is a creature targets you with an attack or other target effect, and you can see the attacker. You create a blanket of fog in a 5 foot burst centered on one corner of your space. All creatures within the area are concealed, and all others are concealed to them. The concealment applies to the triggering effect, and the fog lasts for 1 minute or until dispersed by a strong wind. After resolving the trigger effect, you step. If an effect prevents you from stepping, you attempt to escape the effect, and if you step if you succeed.
Yeah, yeah, I really like this. This reminds me a lot of the oh god, what was it? The kind of the darkness spell,
Hmm.
how it puts this giant field of magical darkness around. How there's that weird caveat that if you could not see in magical darkness, it would make you and everyone else in the area blind. Kind of like this. Like you have concealment from them and they have concealment against you. But the benefit is after the ability misses, potentially misses from this concealment, you automatically get to step. So
Yeah.
after it's done its job and protected you, you get to just Goku style,
Mhm.
just go charging out of the smoke and attack your opponent.
Yeah, this would be actually really nice to combine it with Smoke Soul. So yeah.
Ooh, oh, yeah. Oh, big yeah. You kidding me? Oh, hell yeah. Because then, like, in order to do anything, they have to roll like a 7 up or yeah, it's concealed, not hidden. So it would be a 7 up. That would be really.
Hmm.
Or is it a 5?
Oh, hey,
5 up.
Hedgie Cleric, welcome to chat.
Hey, Edgy Claire, great to see you. Oh my God, welcome to our little talk show.
Hmm.
We're talking about sylphs.
Yep.
Uh, so let's see, we just did Aries step, the 13th level feat, and talking about how you can kind of use that with the smoke soul for the 1-2 punch, and some tactics with it. Next up is Genie Weapon Expertise. This is the last and final skill tree, if you will, for the feat of the Genie weapons. Um, Let's see here. It says whenever you gain a class feature that grants you expert or greater proficiency in certain weapons, you also gain that proficiency with falchions, ransuras, scimitars, tridents, and geniekin weapons, which you are trained. It's nice. Again, if you really want to be a weapon user of genie weapons or the geniekin weapons, this is really good.
Yeah.
But my only thing about this is it's like this is clearly for non-fighting characters. If you are a fighter, champion, or barbarian or ranger, you probably already have proficiency with these weapons.
Yeah.
If you are a sorcerer, wizard, maybe a rogue, then
I
you'd need these skill feats.
Yeah, I think you could also use this feat for monks and have use these weapons, the Geniekin weapons, as part of your monk weapons. I believe. I could be wrong though.
Well, the thing is, it's the genie weapons only. The good thing is, though, is that basically that last feat, the genie weapon expertise, allows it so that if you were to get a expert or above in any other weapon proficiency, this now automatically applies to these weapons as well. So, like if you were becoming an expert in monk
Hmm.
weapons or whatever, then you'd be just as good in genie
Yeah.
weapons. But that's not until level 13.
Yeah.
So and that's not going to stack well at all.
Hmm.
13 plus 2, that's okay. It's a plus 15 to hit. But at 13, you're probably going to be getting master level if you haven't already, which is
Yeah.
a plus 6. That's 4. That's 4 points of possibly
Ooh.
missing your target.
Ooh. I just thought of this. Geniekin weapon expertise with a magus.
Ooh, yeah. Especially with like some of the abilities of the
Hmm.
falchion. I think a
Hmm.
falchion's a two-handed weapon in this
Yeah, I
game.
think that's what it's honestly this feat is gonna be geared towards those kind of builds for those kind of classes.
I cannot wait until Secrets of Magic come out.
Mhm.
Secrets of Magic is coming out later this year, right?
I believe so. Myself, I'm still waiting for an announcement of Mesmerist. Okay.
Look, we all got our baby. I want
Uh,
the Magus. I want to see the Inquisitor when it comes out. But when the Magus comes out, ain't no one call me or email me. I'm gonna take the phone off the hook. I'm gonna read that sucker all day long
mm-hmm.
because I
All
love me a
right.
Magus.
Next up here, we got Summon Air Elemental. I believe this is. I think this is the last of the level 13 feats. You have a connection to the inner spheres, allowing you to summon an elemental ally. Once per day, you can cast Summon Elemental as a 5th level primal innate spell, but the elemental
Oh.
summon must be an air elemental.
I
This is
remember we
nice.
covered this with the other two,
Yeah.
like the Fire and Earth nations, if you will. Uh, yeah, it gets pretty dope. At this
Hmm.
level, that means you're basically summoning a level 5. Let me actually give you a better example. You're summoning a living whirlwind. You're summoning a tornado with a personality.
Yeah.
Um,
And what's
that
really cool, yeah,
that could be
what's
really
really cool
good.
about this is combine it with a martial class or a rogue. You got a buddy there that's gonna give you flat footed right there.
Here, I'll do you one better. You really want to piss off your GM? Here's the best way to piss off your GM. Summon shit. Yeah, it's I can say the S word
Hmm.
now. Summon stuff. Like you could be a sylph barbarian. No, I hit that trope too much. You could be a sylph monk, right? You could
Hmm.
just be doing lightning punches all day every day. You're raiding, you're having a great time. but you have a druid friend. You and your druid friend and your summoner pal can start summoning crap. You put out a living whirlwind, a CR5 creature. You basically now have another player at the table.
Yeah.
You put out the summoner and the druid, and now a fight made for 5 people is now a fight made against, let's just
6
say,
people.
yeah, 6 round up, but like with 8
Yeah.
entities going at once.
Oh,
Oh.
imagine if all the players have one of these ancestries where they could summon something, so your party of 5 becomes a party of 10.
Yeah, it sucks. Let me tell you, as a GM, it sucks because like not only is that more time for combat, but that's just throwing off our CR balance all the
Yeah.
way to hell. And it's more damage, it's more control, it's more ground being taken. Oh, God, it's
Hedgie Cleric
a
posted,
nightmare.
sometimes you just need some alone time? Uh, and Maynard posted, air elementals don't F around. I don't curse. Don't curse. No cursing. No cursing. Maynard also posted, 6-person can fly too. Woo!
Yeah. Yeah, now you have a living whirlwind that can fly and attack as like a CR5 person. A level 5
Yeah.
character is pretty strong.
They can actually, since they can fly, I think they can also help you by carrying you to like high up places. Or I'm wondering if this is possible. Air elemental carries you up in the air, and you're just shooting down as a ranger.
Oh, that would be cool. I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
I know that some sorcerer builds give you. Speaking of wings, Pengu-chan, dedicate this one to you. At level 17 now, with the ancestry feats, you have eternal wings of a sylph. You have to have the wings of air, previously mentioned, in conjecture to your name, Pengu-chan. And the eternal wings gives you permanent wings as part of your body. You gain the effects of wings of air at all times rather than just 10 minutes at a time. So you now can fly at the same speed you walk, and that's just great.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like as Michael said, being a ranger and shooting from above.
Yeah. What have we learned from Star Wars? Always try to get the high ground.
See, the high ground is really good until you realize bayonet charges and bullets don't give a crap about your high ground. Once you're close range, that high ground is now exposing a lot more torso than you'd really like to admit.
All right. And now we are at one of the capstones. This is Storm Form, feat level 17. You could transform into an elemental. Once per day, you can cast elemental form as a 7th level primal innate spell, but you only choose the air elemental form. So yeah, your sylph orc can literally turn himself into like a storm giant. Boom.
Yeah. Let me give you some context for how silly this is. And by silly, I mean friggin' awesome. So it's a level 17 ability. You basically get a spell. You get a level 7 spell for free, no matter what your class is. And why is it so good? I'll tell you why. As an air elemental, you have a fly speed of 80 feet. A move action. That's 240 speed with all 3 actions.
Yeah.
And movement does not trigger reactions, which means you do not provoke attack of opportunity ever. At heightened level 7, you're huge. You're like a 20 by 20 monstrosity, and all of your attacks have a 15-foot reach.
Mm-hmm.
15 feet of reach. If you build yourself to be an attack of opportune character, like you fighter, barbarian, champion barbarian, get at 6, I think. You're just picking off suckers left and right. You get an AC of 22 plus your level, which remember at this point is basically 17, so that's 39 armor class.
Yeah.
20 temp HP, an attack modifier of plus 25 to hit with a damage of plus 11. Double the number of damage dice, and an acrobatics or athletics checks of plus 25.
Yeah. And can you correct me if I'm wrong, but this is not, once you pop this spell off, it's not a concentrate spell, is it?
No, it just lasts a minute.
You're a barbarian. You're that barbarian pop the spell off first, then go into a rage with their second action, and then clean house.
Oh. Now, it should be said that the physical damage that you're going to be doing with this, not very strong. It is a 1d4 bludgeoning gust damage for one action. With the plus 11, that's still not bad. I'm pretty sure that's going to factor in everything else, like your weapon specializations, maybe not. But just the fact that once a day, you become this chonky badass, and then after the minute is up or you lose HP, revert back to your normal self. Like, for casters, this is brilliant. For barbarians, you might be losing a little bit of damage, but everything else you're doing is just a game changer.
And that is the last feat for the Sifs. So, real quick, what did you think of the Sif?
I like it. I think it depends on what you want build wise. Damage wise, I don't think it's as strong as the Fire Ifrit or the Oread. The Oread's super tanky and has some really good damage stuff. And if you want to go see that on our YouTube, go ahead and check it out. We talked about the Fire and the Rock at the same time. Ifrit, of course, is amazing for fire builds, which the problem is you get later in levels. Most creatures have fire resistance, if not immunity. So end game, a lot of their damage is kind of meh. But mobility and defensive utility, the Sylph is outstanding, especially if you're a rogue and you need to get that sneak attack off. This is a great option.
Definitely. And once again, like I said before, if you're a range attacker, getting the high ground. Yeah. Fly
Absolutely.
is, in games like Pathfinder 2nd Edition, flight is super useful.
Especially when the size classes matter. That's not, it doesn't, you know what I mean? Because like when the creatures gargantuan are huge, you can fly above it, you can fly to its head, and it puts you in a very different playing field now. Also, I'll say this: I'm really super excited to cover Sylph because eventually, as you all know, the players are going to go to Osmocon, and there will be a filler arc because all good shows have a few. And eventually, Ichi is going to have to fight to get her belt back, right? Her championship Luchadora belt from the Temple of Lucha in Osmocon. I am trying to create a huge roster of powerful and culturally respectful and really cool Lucha characters, including one that I've been inspired by a song called "My Name Is Thunder" by Beetroot and Jet. If you remember Jet from like 2004, we're friends now. But My Name Is Thunder, great song, inspired me to make a wrestler whose name is Thunder, and the Sylph is just absolutely perfect for that character. So I'm so excited to do a Lucha tournament. Oh my god.
Oh, I can't wait for that. As a wrestling fan, I cannot wait for that. But anyway, we are now moving on to our second ancestry that we're going to be talking about in this episode, which is the Undine. Undine. These dynamic, fluid mortals trace their ancestries to creatures from the plane of water, such as myriads, water mythics, and brine dragons. So these are they're your waterbenders right there. These are your waterbenders.
Oh yeah, even the art. The art is waterbending 101. I mean, look at it.
Yeah. The Undines often go through life in a series of shifting phases, their interests waxing and waning, and sometimes morphing together as old loved ones are discarded for new interests. Structure provides a much-needed focus to the Undines' lives, and without strong goals or support from those around them, Undines can find themselves stagnating in feelings of despondence. Most Undines feel they personify specific aspects of water, some seeing themselves with strength and the power of waves, the speed and tenacity of a river current, or the calm of a peaceful lake or pond. Others identify with all these aspects and more, their demeanors shifting like the tides from one situation to the next. So my question there is, so what if you identify with condensation?
There's an Undine for that.
There's an Undine for that. But yeah, these are your water boys or girls.
These are your water benders. In fact, the artwork is great. Like you see, there's an old man who's got a hand up and a ball of water is kind of forming around him. Another one where there is a woman who's absolutely doing that kind of traditional Tai Chi
Hmm.
movements that they
Yeah.
use for waterbending
Hmm.
in Avatar.
Yeah, and the ability for the versatile heritage of Undines are, let's see, a water elemental ancestor influences your bloodline. You gain the Undine trait. In addition to the traits from your ancestry, you gain a swim speed of 10 feet and the amphibious trait. Like all creatures with the amphibious trait, you could breathe both water and air. You could choose from the Undine feats and feats for your ancestry whenever you gain an ancestry feat. You know what? The swim speed is situational, man, but the fact that you could breathe both water and air, that could be super useful.
Yeah, I'm going to say this. I think this is better than the last versatile heritage for the Sylph, which is basically an access to either low light vision or dark vision.
Hmm.
Um, this is only better because since this is a versatile heritage, you can smash this up with anything else. You could be an
Yeah.
orc Undine, you could be a kobold Undine, whatever. Most of those already have low or dark light visions, and we all know this is going to have a feat to give you dark vision anyway.
Yeah.
So this is actually really good. We're adding
Mhm.
something new that the kit doesn't get by itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
All right, let's go into the feats. Do you want to kick us off, PJ?
Sure, I'm going to skip the aquatic eyes because we all know that's just dark vision. Brine soul. Ooh, I like that. Somewhere in the north, there's a very salty worm who's crying out for sea wolf flesh. Brine soul. Your elemental ancestor's legacy asserts itself as brackish water. Like the seawater of the ocean, you gain the salt wound reaction. Salt wound reaction, Undine, frequency once per day. Trigger. A creature that has blood and is not at its maximum HP points hits you with a melee strike. Ooh. Effect. You channel salt and brine from your blood into the creature's wound. The creature must attempt a fortitude save using your class or spell DC, whichever's higher. On a failure, the creature takes 1d6 persistent acid damage and is sickened 1 by the pain. On a critical failure, they take persistent 2d6 acid damage and are sickened 2.
Ooh, that
Out
is
the freaking
wow.
gate. What? Oh my god.
Yeah, they're literally full of salt. They are very, very, very salty.
I just consider this. You're level 1, right? You're going to be fighting creatures if your GM is really working their math hard. Creatures who are CR1, CR0, and CR negative 1. The 2d6 persistent acid damage by itself has absolutely the potential to automatically kill whoever just hurt you.
Hmm.
That's a death sentence to most starting characters. That's insane.
Yeah. You know what? I'm not gonna. I was gonna say something, and I was like, "Ooh, that's too salty even for me."
Too salty even for you. Maynard asks, how often can you use it? Great question. And Reef's like, what level is this? Level 1, you can use it once a day. However, you're level 1. What is the reality of you fighting a buttload of characters at level 1? Generally speaking, not very often. You're probably going to be doing this more than likely once a fight, depending on how often you get your rests in. And you're going to be probably straight up killing whatever it is you put this thing on.
Hmm.
And the thing is, it doesn't level with you. It doesn't. That kind of sucks. But it's absolutely beautiful for the first 5 levels. Dear God.
Yeah, and also, yeah, it doesn't say you can't. So yeah, you can retrain this later on.
Yeah, that's even. Oh my God, that's
Hmm.
even better. Once you get to like level 9, you start getting the really juicy feats. You can retrain at a brine soul and take a different
Yeah.
feat 9 or below.
Hmm.
Oh, bruh.
Yep. Yep.
Oh my God.
All right. Next up, I'm not going to go into elemental eyes or elemental lore because we have gone through that. Essentially, you see better in the dark, and you know water stuff.
Yeah, and genie weapon familiarity. We've already covered that.
Yeah.
You get falchions, rancers, scimitars, and tridents.
Yeah. Yeah. I will jump into Mist Soul. And no, this is not the game Myst. This is not the video game Myst. Even though that's a great video game. It's not that kind of Myst. It's not Myst or Riven. This is the level 1 Mist Soul feat. You have a connection to vaporous forms of water, such as fog and mist. You gain the mist blending reaction. So, mist blending is a reaction. The trigger is a creature attempts a flat check to target you because you're concealed or hidden due to a fog, haze, or mist or smoke. The effect is you shroud yourself in mist, making it harder for your foe to hit you. If you're concealed, the DC of the flat check increases from 5 to 7. If you're hidden, it increases from 11 to 13. So you got a little built-in fog, concealment fog.
Yeah, it sounds like it's actually, and this is kind of interesting because this is exactly like the smoke soul from the Sylph we already covered.
Yeah.
In fact, it mathematically is the exact same ability. If you have cover or hidden from those things, the flat check to hit you is in theory harder because there's more range of necessary success, I guess.
I mean, this is really great for playing rogues, rangers, and also even frontline characters like barbarians, because you have that concealment right there, and concealment's always useful if you have it,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Really quick, jumping in the chat. See, Reap Psyche posted, if you're making a character foe a one shot at low level, this is busted. I believe that's for the Brine Soul. And Hedgie Cleric posted hashtag Water Tribe. Exactly.
Yeah, I think we discussed this earlier when we did the Oriad and the Ifrit. I think myself and Michael, we're both Earth Tribers. Like, we're definitely Earth Nation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I definitely have the hands for it. But like, I respect the Water Tribe because, man, y'all center us, man. Rhyme Soul. This is after the Mist Soul. The water inside you is cold and frozen, like sheets of ice and frigid glaciers. You gain resistance to cold equal to half your level, minimum 1, and you treat environmental cold effects as if they were one step less severe. This is awesome at level 1, because that means you're going to have, end game resistance level 10, or 10 resistance to cold damage. And cold, much like the Sylph's lightning damage, that's going to pop up. And if you're doing a campaign that is taking place in the frozen north, this basically means you're never going to die because of exposure, ever.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, this is basically the feat that every kid that kid that even in the dead of winter is okay with a t-shirt and shorts.
Kevin. Friggin' Kevin, man.
It's Kevin. All right.
Sitting over with his flip-flops and shorts and a hoodie. Bro, put some pants on. You know you're cold.
All right. Pengu-chan posted hashtag Air Tribe. So, yep. Now we can find a Fire Tribe person. We got all 4 elements.
Oh, I'm sure someone in this chat is a Fire Nation. There's got to be one.
All right. And let's see. Next up is another level 1 feat called Tide Harden. You're at home in the unpredictable tides. You gain a +1 circumstance bonus to saves against cold and water effects. If you roll a success on a save against a cold or water effect, you get a critical success instead. Very useful. This is, once again, another very useful elemental defensive ability.
Absolutely. And you can retrain out of it. So if you're like, let's say you go to the plane of fire for a long period of time, like you're going to be there for like 5 levels, you can untrain out of this and do whatever else you need. But I like that at low levels, that +1 bonus against like Ray of Frost or whatever, that will be necessary, that will be useful.
Yeah. Oh, we got Reap Psyche posted, Fire Nation, finger guns, yeah!
Yeah, I had a feeling, my dude. I don't know what, I had a feeling you were Fire Nation. It's good to have you.
All right.
Let's see. So I'm going to skip Fey Influence because I know we've already covered that. For those of you who just turned in, like Hedgie Cleric, good to see you. Basically, it lets you get 1 free Druid spell and access to Druid magic. Well, not the Druid class, but like the primal school of magic. Fluid Contortionist. Okay. Fluid contortionist. You ignore difficult terrain caused by moving through spaces that aren't light enough to force you to squeeze. When you roll a critical failure on a check to squeeze, you get a failure instead, and when you roll success, you get a critical success instead. Squeezing is a really cool narrative skill to move through things, but the problem is you don't really get to see it all that often.
Yeah, it's super, super situational.
Yeah. Now, there are really fun things. Like, for example, if you're going through a crowded city street, like you're at a bazaar, or you're at, like, I don't know, New York and Times Square, that kind of thing. In order to actually move through the crowd, you'd have to do a squeeze to get through.
Yeah.
You can also
Or,
do that, like, in a dungeon, moving through,
yeah.
like, a small slit panel.
Or a trap that's already been set off that you can kind of just squeeze on through.
Exactly.
All right,
Exactly.
next up, I'm gonna skip Genie Weapon Flourish, which is basically you're good with Genie type weapons, and also Skillful Tail, which you essentially get a tail that acts like a mage hand. Let's see. Oh, we have a Steam spell, which is a level 5 feat. You transform your fire spells into steam, making them more effective underwater. If your next action is to cast a spell with the fire trait, you can cast it underwater. When you do so, it takes the form of scalding steam. Underwater steams do not gain the normal fire resistance for being underwater against a spell, but they don't light things on fire or cause persistent fire damage, nor do they add other effects that would apply to fire but not steam at the GM's discretion. You know what? This is actually it is situational, but it's still kind of useful, especially if you're a spellcaster loaded up with fire spells and you're just find yourself at sea or underwater.
It's definitely very cool. I love it a lot because it's a meta magic ability, and
Mm-hmm.
you don't really get a lot of meta magic abilities, especially the meta magic abilities outside of your class. Usually, there'll be feats within the class that will provide them. This is fun because it doesn't matter what class you are, your versatile heritage grants it to you. And this is kind of the solution to problems like burning hands and fireball underwater. Um, because I know fireball is fire damage. I don't know if it would still apply because there is no persistent fire damage. Nothing gets lit on fire. Um,
I
so I
think
have to check.
I think it just becomes a damaging projectile at that point with an
And,
area effect.
yeah, because I kind of feel like fireball is mostly an explosive conflagration, right? It's just
Hmm.
boom and it's done.
Yeah.
And you could, in theory, without this ability, still describe it as such. You'd probably change the damage from fire to force, kind of like what a mine would do, an
Hmm.
underwater mine.
Yeah.
Um, but hey, you know what? It's also an F you pay me skill. If you're
Yeah.
not sure and the GM says no, F you pay me the skills as I can. Boom.
Exactly. Lady Arterel, hi. Welcome to chat.
Ooh. Great to see you, Lady Ontario. Good to see you as always. Loving all my friends, the chat. I also saw the Captain Planet forums. Yes, we
Hmm.
just need a heart genie Kim. I don't know what that would be.
You know what? There's still like three other Geniekins that we're gonna discuss at another episode. So
That's a very good point. That we should maybe there's a heart geniekin. Fingers crossed. There's a heart geniekin. Also, I challenge anyone who says Mati sucks. Mati does not suck. Mati just put all his points into like two spells as a bard and a druid, and he does not get the love he deserves. Because like everyone's like, well, what does heart do? It makes you feel things. No, it commands the loyalty of animals, and that's all it does. But it's still basically like Aquaman for the top side. If I fight you. Coffee's kicking in. Woo, let's
hmm.
do this.
All
Where are
right,
we?
we are at Myriad Magic for ya.
Ah, yes, the Marid magic. You channel the magic of Marids. You can cast Hydraulic Push and Obscuring Mist, each once per day. A second level. Okay, so this is the magic that, kind of like with the Sylph had. They get Gusto and Invisibility.
Hmm.
You got Hydraulic Push and Obscuring Mist. Hydraulic Push is really good. It's basically like a ranged force damage. They're going to take some damage, about 66,
Mhm.
but really what's the importance here is the knockback.
Yeah,
Um,
hydraulic push is basically a Squirtle's water gun.
100%. 100%. And obscuring mist is perfect because, as we both know, the mist form and the smoke screen form, the smoke form
Hmm.
for the sylph, kind of requires you to be covered in mist.
Yeah.
This is a cheap way to get it,
Hmm.
as well as anything else.
All right. Let's see. What do I have? Oh, the last level 9 feat. Very simple. Level 9, strong swimmer. As you could guess, you swim with you swim. Your swim speed increases to match your land speed. You swim just as well as you walk. I
See,
mean,
and
that's it.
that's really cool. I mean, think about it. Like, think about how hard the Olympians have to work to get to that. Michael Phelps had to basically
Yeah.
have the perfect genetics and over 10 years of training to get to the point where his breaststroke would probably equal his jog or sprint
Yeah.
speed.
You're essentially Michael Phelps.
Yeah, Reap Psyche, swim speed is important, big time, because without that ability, I think you're approximately swimming at either minus 10 or half your
Hmm.
speed, which it'll really
Hmm.
slow you down,
I
especially if
mean,
you're a gnome.
I will say this still, it's another one of those feats that's also super situational depending on the type of campaign you're going to be running. Because if you're going to be on land the entire time,
Oh,
you
yeah.
might not want to pick this feat. And also the fact that this is a level 9 feat. Actually, if it was up to me, I would maybe put it a little earlier, maybe level 5, perhaps.
I would even go so far as to make it a level 1 feat because they kind of have this really dumb redundant thing where you have both aquatic eyes and elemental eyes, and they both give you dark vision. There's no need for that. I would get rid of aquatic eyes and make that a level 1 feat.
Yeah. All right. I believe we could just jump over the genie weapon expertise we talked about before. And why don't you take summon water elemental?
Summon water elemental. You can summon an elemental ally once per day, like casting summon elemental, 5th level spell, but the elemental summon has to be a water elemental. And remember, as you talked about, GMs hate this spell because it's more combat economy, and it's just a nightmare. And also, they're not bad. That's basically like throwing a whole level 5
Hmm.
character into a granted a level
Yeah.
13 encounter. They won't last long, but that's still something.
I mean, at the very least, we need a meat shield. Just throw this guy at him. Throw this guy at him. Meat shield.
Quick,
Water
water
shield.
person,
Yeah.
die for my life. Blah blah blah.
All right. Next up, we have, I believe this is the last level 13 feat. It's called Translucent Skin. Your body is translucent underwater. Whenever you are fully submerged in water, you can hide from the other creatures if you don't have cover against them and aren't concealed from them. Oh god, this reminds me of those jellyfish. I forgot what they're called, but you can
Yeah,
see they have the little red dot in the middle, but they're pretty much translucent.
yeah. It's I really like it because like let's say you're playing an Undine rogue. If you're playing a water campaign, like the thought that keeps pumping into my brain as a GM is water world one shot.
Yeah.
It's so it just speaks to it so easily. You
Hmm.
have boat combat, water combat, land is sparse, and so is drinkable water. So you have resource mitigation, you have survival aspects, and combat with an Undine is almost necessary.
Yeah.
And as a rogue, you're just shanking people underwater, and
There
they're
you
having a
go.
horrible
There you
time.
go. Oh, we got let's see. Alexandre in chat. Hey, what's up, Alex? And Reef Psyche posted, nothing kills adventurers more easily than water. That
Yup.
is very, very true. It's like a Mega Man game.
Oh, or Sonic 2
Or
with the
Sonic 2.
water
Yeah,
level.
yeah, yeah. Dun 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 dun. Got that
Still have
music.
trauma.
Yeah. So or Echo the Dolphin.
Oh, but Echo was so chill until you had the boss fights. Everything else was so
No,
chill.
it's pretty much when you need air.
Yeah, I forgot that
Yeah.
you need that every now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah, also, Alexiol Rain, good to see
Alexio.
you. Reef Psyche is saying, Level 16, my party in the PF1 Kingmaker campaign teleported into a king's court and summoned a huge T-Rex, made the DM's life a nightmare. Summons are a pain. Yes, they suck. I mean, they're awesome for the players. They suck for GMs.
So,
Holy crap.
so PJ, so what you're telling me is next one shot, make a summoner type character.
I hate you. Yes, go ahead and do whatever you want. But I hate you. Oh my god. Well, I remember last time you had a summoner for Halloween. It went okay.
Yeah, but this one will be like a wizard that just summons other stuff to fight with them constantly.
I need to go back and check the summoner spell list because, like, if I recall correctly, they were basically like a hamstringed wizard that just had a customizable animal companion the whole time.
Yeah. Next high level 10 plus one shot we're playing. All the summon. I'm making a conjurer wizard just summon stuff. He's just sitting back there like summon, summon. So he's not even fighting. He's like having other people fight for him.
I can see it now. It's like, so Michael, what's your character's name? His name is Middle Finger. I bet it is.
He's just sitting there in his lazy boy, magic lazy boy with a bowl of a magical, never-ending popcorn. It's like, oh, 1 second, summon. All right, summon.
I just love some guy just like mouthful of popcorn points. Summon. Rip Psyche says, do you still have to expend your own actions for the summon to do anything in PF2E, like you do the animal companions and such? I have to check, but I believe so, yes. I believe once you summon the creature, they go on your turn, and you have to use one action to basically give them a 2-action command, much like Animal Companion. But the fact of the matter is, it's still a level 13 hero summoning a level 5 hero. Like, it's not lame. It sucks. I guess the only difference is that, like, while the Animal Companion is purposely limited on its numbers and stats, the creature summoned isn't.
Yeah.
Like, there is a ceiling for how powerful Mush can get. Mush can get stupid powerful. Let's not ignore that fact. But he will be as powerful for a companion. You are summoning a monster character who will have monster stats. That's a very different ballpark.
And especially when you summon creatures with different types of movements, like all my summons have the power of flight.
Yeah. You don't have to, like, use your animal companion to fly. You can make an air elemental. Rip Psyche put summoned creatures are also great roadblock meat shields. Yeah, I made the joke previously. It's very true. Like, oh, this creature might die right away. That's its only purpose. Die for me, water elemental.
Yeah. It's essentially from that one scene in Shrek with the princesses. The and then you have Snow White, like, summoning, like, a wave of woodland creatures.
No, it's for sure, but it also reminds me of that other meme from Shrek, where, like, the summoner is talking to their summons, and it's like, all of you are going to die, but that is a risk I'm willing to take. Go die for me.
I'm playing Farquaad. I'm playing Lord Farquaad.
There's so many bad words I could say, but I don't want to get demonetized. All right, so the last and final feat for the Undine heritage feat is called Tidal Shield. This is level 17, and it's the only level 17 you got. So, it's this or nothing. It's 2 actions, once per day. You conjure the Force of the Tides to get a +4 circumstance bonus to AC until the end of your next turn. Any allies adjacent to you during that duration get a +2 circumstance bonus to AC as long as they remain adjacent to you. So basically within, like, a 5-foot touch in any direction. You can sustain the effect to a maximum duration of 5 rounds. Okay. When a creature receiving a circumstance bonus to AC from Tidal Shield would take damage from an attack as a reaction, you can reduce the damage that creature by 40. After you do so, Tidal Shield ends. Okay, this is amazing. This is Baroque. The fact that you can use one action to maintain a shield, a +4 AC bonus to you that creates a +2 AC bonus to your friends, that can negate only once, however, but still negate 40 damage.
It's
That's really good.
it's a really buffed up shield spell. I will say it's balanced in the fact that you can only use it once per day.
Yeah. But what makes it even more deliciously OP, because Michael makes a good point, you can only do it once a day. However, this is also being used with a Redeemer's Glimpse of Redemption reaction check to like basically negate a bunch of damage. It's also being used with shield blocks and shield raises, not to mention the shield cantrip, not to mention any other spell that your team may have on hand to prevent damage. This is now being added on
Yeah.
top of that resource,
I
like
will say
with
this
all that thing
though.
going on.
One of the downsides of Tidal Shield is over see, a shield spell is unlike a regular shield spell, you cannot use it as a reaction to block spells like Magic Missile.
True, but even though that is the case, because that is a very valid point, it still negates. I want to say for up to
Yeah.
40 damage.
Yeah.
Now, if you're, I don't think you can do a shield block resistance to magic missile. I don't think you can actually do any reactions against magic missile unless it's an attack of opportunity.
The shield is the only spell that could block Magic Missile, I believe.
Thank you. You are correct. The cantrip shield, yes, that's true. But I think that's the only one. But the fact that it's a cantrip and at level 17, let's be honest, shield at level 17 is probably going to negate most of that damage anyway by itself.
And I will also say that, at level 17, unless most people overlook Magic Missile. I mean, at high levels, Magic Missiles are still useful. Just people often overlook it for other spells like Fireball or Lightning Bolt or such.
Well, it's magic missiles are a really great thing. So I know there's that one gentleman on YouTube, and I'm not going to say his name, but I know we're all thinking about it, who had a problem with magic missile and how it worked in Pathfinder. I think magic missile was actually really brilliant in Pathfinder 2e because what it gave you was always the opportunity of doing damage. Because you could do 1 action, 2 actions, or 3 actions, and that would determine what it could do. So in theory, you were always doing damage with it. It may not be what you like, but you have that option.
True.
But I think what really draws people away from it isn't the action economy of the spell; it's the damage economy of the spell. Like when you compare it to things like harm spell, like fireball, like whatever, no one looks for the D4. That kind of gets parsed out. We look for the D6s, the D8s, the D10s, the D12s. And that's the thing. Like, don't sleep on it. Magic Missile will F you up.
Yeah, also Magic Missile. Unless it's a shield reaction, shield cantrip, it's gonna hit you. It's gonna hit you.
Yep.
It's a guaranteed hit. It's a guaranteed hit unless you have a shield cantrip.
Yeah. You don't have to roll to hit. All you do is roll damage. It automatically happens. So long as you have line of sight, I believe. Things like cover and hidden, you may have to make the flat roll still, the DC 5 flat roll or whatever. But other than that, pew pew pew.
Exactly. So anyway, that has been the Sylphs and the Undines. First of all, what do you think of the Undines, PJ?
Oof. I mean, that title shield. The fact that, let's say you're an Undine champion and you're wearing your legendary proficiency with your heavy armor at level 17, you're going to have a crazy AC. And the fact that you can bump that by 4 means you'll probably never even have to worry about the 40 damage resistance because you'll probably never get hit. And then every tank stream, you're giving your defense bonuses to people within arm length. Your rogue friend has such a great potential to set up with you for sneak attacks. I'll say this. I like the Undine in places, in little bits and pieces here and there. Some of it I don't think is that great, but some of it is absolutely amazing. Tidal Shield wins the gold medal for one of the best capstone ancestry feats I've ever seen.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see, the Undine's Playing an Undine champion would be with title shield. That would be super nice. That would be super super nice, especially if you add it with the was it the Bastion? I believe is the archetype.
Yeah, the Bastion also does, and
Yeah.
if they're neutral good and they take the Redeemer has that really great reaction that that Morel likes to use a lot, where
Yeah.
basically it's the enemy has to choose either they're going to forfeit the attack entirely, which is nice, or if they decide not to forfeit the attack, the character they're about to take automatically gets resistance to that attack equal to level plus modifier.
Hmm.
So a level 17 champion using that reaction plus whatever their dummy thick modifier is going to be,
Yeah.
that's a possibility of a 22 resistance to that attack.
Hmm. Yeah, I can definitely see Undines being very useful for both spellcasters and martial type characters.
Yeah. But what's great about it is there's still the potential for magic casters.
Hmm.
The fact that you can use fire magic underwater and all it does is cost one extra action for the meta magic cost
Yeah.
is it's pretty cool. Now, are you
Yeah.
blowing your entire turn to do a fireball unabated underwater? Yeah, but also you're taking away the only weakness that fire has, which is water.
Yeah.
That's gone now.
Yeah. Especially if you're fighting against swarms of enemy underwater. You got that AoE with that fireball, which is I guess
Hmm.
now a steam ball. Boom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Hmm. All right. Now let's really quickly talk about which of the two would you prefer, the Undine or the Sylphs?
Ooh, that's really tough. That's really
Yeah.
tough.
I
Um,
know. I kind of want to say for myself, they're actually pretty balanced against each other.
They really are. And what I love about them is there actually is a small amount of teamwork, synergy, because like they both, depending on the soul that you choose,
Hmm.
they both can create mist, and they both can benefit from it defensively, depending on the
Yeah.
soul you choose. And when you put that together, you now have a really good pairing
Hmm.
of individuals that are going to sneak attack the crap out of you.
Hmm.
Um, However, comma, where they both have strengths, they both have the same weaknesses, which is mobility being very good, but not great. I think the only
Yeah.
benefit that the Sylph has above the Undine is flying,
Hmm.
because swimming is only good in water, but it is
Yeah.
great. It is necessary in water. However, the flying is good everywhere else.
True.
That's
True.
kind of my thought.
Yeah. If you're going to be playing a above land, yeah, I'll
Mhm.
go with Sylph. But if you're going to go play like a pirate campaign or underwater type campaign, I would recommend Undines over a Sylph, even though a Sylph in a pirate campaign can still be super useful, but being able to go underwater, it's kind of that whole above or below. Where do you want to go attack from, you know?
Yeah. Ripsaki just said Sky Pirates.
True,
Absolutely. I think the
true,
Sylph would be amazing for Sky
true.
Pirates.
Or
Um,
if you're in a ooh, now I'm thinking if you're in a pirate campaign on the open sea, play a Undine spellcaster, go underwater of the enemy boat, and then just start casting fireballs up below the boat.
uh, See, I really, so I have a just a butt ton of spin-off stories and worlds and all these things. There's content for days here. But there was one world I kind of had in my mind that was a sky-bound world, right? It's all sky.
Yeah.
So having a sylph would probably be A, very common, and two, make combat in the sky very exciting, like flying under a ship and then just shooting fireballs up at it.
Yeah, yeah. Ooh, I just thought of something. Let's see. Let me see. Let's double check if it's possible. I believe it's what's that bird race? Not the Tengus. The
Tricks.
Strix. Yeah, Strix. And a Undi with a Sylph.
Yeah, you could probably make that work because I think the Strix is a primary heritage, which means you can combine them. That could be really, huh?
Or a
That,
Strix with the Undine, and you're a seagull, so you could be in the air and underwater.
you're a Pokemon.
Yeah.
Um, You're a Wingle. I would actually hesitate against the Sylph combo, because one of the big keystones to both of those heritages is flying speed and jumping speed. And I feel like it's so redundant that the options between those two wouldn't really matter.
Okay.
At
Okay.
least with
Fair.
those keystones in place. There's other things that would be very useful, such as vision and magic options. But the flying thing, I think, would just kind of get in the way.
Really quick. Oh, welcome Sleepy Gesture 34, who posted Drow for everything.
Throughout everything, that's right. Good old Drizzt, ruining the heroic landscape one amazing story at a time.
And Hedgie Cleric posted, you leave Scuttle out of this.
Oh my god. Okay, so now my brain, Scuttle, statting out Scuttle. He is a Strix Sylph combo bard with a small amount of multiclassing into Rogue, the Rogue archetype, and his entire bit is he is a scavenger. I think there's actually a scavenger archetype.
Yeah, there is. There
Yeah.
is. I kind of want to say Undine because you can actually spit out, you can do like a water gun out of your mouth.
Oh, thank you. Yes, he's a Strix Undine bard scavenger, and he tells stories to all the pure-blooded Undines underwater, the Tritons. Actually, no, I think they actually have a Triton-esque group of people. It's not
Yeah, yeah.
those were two more of the Genie-kin versatile heritages. A lot of fun, some really cool stuff, some great concepts and discussions. That title shield. Ugh. But without further ado, it's time to say goodbye, and we cannot wait to see you in the chat and in the comments next time. Please tell us what you think and any ideas. So now we say goodbye, Mr. Michael Powell. Please tell us who you are and where we can find you on that sweet, sweet internet.
Well, you can find me all over the internet on my social media, which is usually at Mr. Kapow, that's MrKapao, or my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Michael Powell Does Stuff, because I do a lot of stuff like my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Fantastic Tales of Adventure. And you can also find me on Thursdays on the Toyzilla Network channel here on Twitch. It's called Toyzilla Live, and we talk about toy news and some nostalgia stuff. So it's a lot of fun. Hope to see you there. But speaking of which, where can we find you, PJ?
Oh, good question. Well, my name is PJ McGaw. You can find me all over the internet at pj.mcgaw, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Come find me. Let's have a good time. And when I'm not here Tuesdays with Mr. Michael Powell, you can find me here Wednesdays, same net time, different net time, same net channel, Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, as I'm the GM of our flagship Pathfinder 2nd Edition homebrew show, Edge of Legend. It's an awesome world, an awesome adventure, and I can't wait to share with you guys the Godlands of Azmakon. Also, every Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m., you can find me on Gilding Lights. That's twitch.tv/Gilding Lights, doing Poison Tulips, where some of my friends and I are playing a bunch of bards, doing just absolute chaos. And next Sunday, May 9th, 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is going to be Jasper's Game Day, which is an amazing cause for suicide awareness and prevention as we do a one-shot. We hope you guys check it out. May 9th, 7:30 p.m. PST. Details to come. Love you. Can't wait to see you then. And I guess we'll see you again here. Same net time, same net channel, at the table. Be safe, everyone. Bye.
Bye!